actually I had started writing a book, and I got to about page 50. I was calling it historical fiction because I didn't want to call it a memoir. And you all think I'm really wacky now, but my youngest daughter, had been to a psychic, and the psychic, she said, "Mom, the psychic is amazing. You have to call the psychic." So I called the psychic, and she said, out of nowhere, she said to me, "So tell me about your writing." I said, "What do you mean?" She said, "Well, it seems you were writing a book." I never mentioned anything about writing. She said, "It's not a book, it's a play. And here's what it's about, and that's what you need to write." So I got off the phone with her, and I was like, "Whoa, that's like crazy." But something happened. I just clicked. I woke up in the middle of the night that night, and I started writing an outline, and I couldn't stop writing for 4 weeks. Every day I was writing, and I called a producer friend of mine, and I said, I think I've got something. I don't know what it is, but I'd like to share it with you. So I went to her office, and she said, "Well, read it to me." So I sat in her office and read it, and she gave me some really great notes and said, "I want you to go out of town with this and not get reviewed and get in front of an audience and see what you've got, and then let's think about bringing it into New York." So that was the process.
That was one of the big producers. I'm going to out her, Daryl Roth, in fact. So the greatest of producers off Broadway.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Pam Smilo. That was a great question.
Lois, during the evolution of this piece, how much did your family know about it, or your friends know about it? Did you ever ask for feedback?
Yes. Lots of feedback from my kids, from Andrew, from very dear friends who are in the business, who I thought would be helpful in guiding me. My director, who unfortunately is not here today because she's going to the Tony Awards, was a wonderful dramaturge, and she and I worked together for about 5 months, I think, or three or 4 months prior to starting rehearsal, and just shaping the piece. And because I think that the very first draft was far more literary and less theatrical, and Daryl actually had recommended that the original draft possibly be turned into a book and sell the book in the theater. But she said, the best case scenario would be that you try and get it to a point where it's far more theatrical. And I think with Mary Kate, who's the director's help, I think we've accomplished that. I hope you think so.
Lois, I enjoyed this. Hi, Lois. I enjoyed this very much. You're telling us. I enjoyed it more than if it had been a book I'd read.
No, thank you. Thanks.
I loved the story. I thought, your authenticity and transparency in telling it was wonderful, and the images on the screens were just wonderful.
Yeah, I think they did a great job with the set. Whoa.
Yeah. Whose concept was that to do the screen, to put the images on the screen?
The images were something that Mary, Kate, and I had spoken about. I had had this idea that I wanted them to be childlike.
They're
these
great.
guys all assembled a team that just really brought it all to life.
The graphic artist has worked with Ping Chong, a name that some of you are familiar with, who has been at BAM and many of the most important points theatrically. Kate Freer is her name. And where does she hail from? South Salem, just 5 miles that way. Okay, so.
Great.
How many performances have you had so far?
This is our 4th.
Thank you.
We opened, opening night was actually a preview the first time we had run it in 3 days. So it was pretty scary.
Out of the 4, which was the best?
Today's a best. Because you were the best audience.
Well, I'm wondering whether you've had the situation of having to improvise in any of your performances, or have they all come out just as planned?
The truth is, when you're doing a piece like this and it's one person, you guys are the other characters in the play, and so depending on what I'm getting from you, things change for me. So thank you, because you guys were great. You know, when people are really, really, I mean, yeah, I'm here to like give you the love. You know, here to love you guys, and so if you're like giving me good stuff back, it really helps.
Thank you.
Last night when she said, say cheese, someone in the audience said, cheese. It's fun. Every night is different. People.
But I don't, you know, improvising, I mean, if I mess something up, then I clearly, you know, since I've written it, it's easy to find my way back. But so far, knock wood, it's, you know, poo. It's been good.
Well, to give you an easy night's sleep tonight, I thought you gave an excellent performance.
Thank you. Thanks very much.
Yeah.
Is this story really based on your life?
Well, I'll say this. It's loosely based on my life because I've borrowed stories from other people. And most cases, I've cleared it with them. Well, not most cases, all cases. I've cleared it with the people I've written about to make sure that they'd be cool with it. You can only write sort of what you know, for, you know, certainly, but there's a lot in there that is not autobiographical, that is just, you know, stuff that shapes a piece. But listen, you write what you know.
So do you have children?
I do. I have 3. Yeah.
And they are okay with all of this?
Yeah, they're so proud of me. They're really proud.
They have been here night after night, so they've been showing up. So. And Andrew as well. So, just to say.
Anybody else? The gentleman back there, you had a question.
No, on the screen, the images and the dialogue, now, that's an amazing way to coordinate. Is that difficult for you to get it together?
Yes, very, especially because we had only 10 hours of tech, and if you were doing this show, you know, out of town, I mean in New York, probably would have been doing that for like 3 weeks before you actually did it in front of people. So that was pretty scary to think, wait, you know, I do have a couple of moments where I'm thinking, was I supposed to pull it over here? Or, you know, and then I just decide, you know, you have to make a decision when you're telling a story that you hope that the story, you know, is good enough that even if there is a technical mistake, nobody cares. As long, you know, hopefully you're listening. And
The director is not here, but did she devise these materials for these screens?
She was very much involved, as was Lois. And then the Schoolhouse has a really good crew. But we did not have our resident lighting designer, so some of the people who came have been doing off-Broadway and Broadway, so we were trying to interface with them. The Schoolhouse is the oldest equity theater here in Westchester, but that said, our dimmer packs were on overload, so we were doing everything we could to support this great team in what they were trying to design. So, thank you, Michael Dandry.
I would like to ask a question because it would really be useful for me, as long as you're all here and I hope willing. I'd love to know what didn't work for you, because that's the information that I need to be able to move it forward.
It's not that it didn't work. It's that, I love mnemonic devices to remember.
Mnemonic, the memory, yes.
Again, what does L.O.V.E.R stand for? It's lust, orgasm.
Virility, erotic rapture.
I began, I was able to take a picture of it. It's, what is it again?
Lust, orgasm, virility, erotic rapture.
It flows. Thank you.